Alright, so I am getting a P0193. And that indicates that I'm getting a high voltage reading coming out of my fuel pressure sensor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out this rail. And I'm going to do that by starting the car. And I'm going to pull number 12 on my car. And this supplies power to the fuel pump. So when I pull this fuse, the fuel pump is going to stop. And there's no longer going to be gas being supplied to the engine. And now I can put that fuse back in. So this should be mostly empty, but I also did just drive this car, so I'm going to let it sit for about a half hour and let everything cool down. And because this is electrical, I'm going to be disconnecting the battery. Oh, vinegar. Just having this thing corroded like that is enough to cause coats to trip. I once had a bad battery and I pulled it off and I had corrosion like this, and I took it into the mechanic and he said, oh yeah, that's a bad battery, I can smell it. So you can smell vinegar. That's better. I'm disconnecting the negative. This is a 10. Good, this thing did. Those should just pull off. There you go. Press down and then push it out. Right, now if you did not drain the rail when you pull this thing off, there's going to be a bunch of fuel that will come out. And there could very well be fuel coming out anyway. So better off putting something down to catch it. And I'm not worried about, obviously this thing getting dirty, but what I am worried about is heat and fuel sitting on top of the engine. So you want to try and capture as much of that as you can. This is a 7. This will just come out. See, there's a little fill in there after all. So that's the old part. And with these, you get what you pay for. If you put a cheap one in, you might actually do damage to your car. So way better off getting an original one OEM. I also like the Bosch. Bosch is good, but I mean Motorcraft, it's made by Ford, good one. And you want to lubricate this gasket. Just because if you just try to ram it down there, it might force it somewhere it doesn't want to go, or it could tear. So just put a little grease on it. I always use Molykote. Pretty much any silicone-based grease is going to work fine, but Molykote is the be-all, end-all as far as O-ring grease goes. And that's probably too much, but it'll be all right. Slid right in. That's it. Put this guy back on. And keep in mind, you should probably wash your hands before you do this, because this could spark, and if you got gas on your hands, fun time. Okay, and I went to check the codes and there were none on there, so just by disconnecting the battery that long, it cleared the codes anyway. But at this point you would want to clear the code, and then we're going to see how it starts.